Hey, how are you doing? My name is Joseph Ngugi, one of the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind. And today, this week, we are talking about the mindset of a winning pre-PT. This is really one area that I think a lot of pre-PTs struggle with. Not only pre-PTs, but physical therapy students and physical therapists. Having the proper mindset to really target what you want, which for most of you is to get into physical therapy school. So we're gonna talk about that today, how to get there, what some of the frustrations are beforehand, and how you can get your act together in regards to your mindset so that you can really charge at this journey of getting to physical therapy school with 100% effort, knowing that you are going to get there regardless of what's in your way. So let's start from the beginning. A little bit is about like what cripples a lot of pre-PTs is how we think. What really cripples us as pre-PTs is how we think. A lot of times it comes from comparing ourselves to other students, comparing ourselves to our classmates, comparing ourselves to the standards that our professors have set, comparing ourselves to what we see online, what we read on the websites of different universities. And so we take that and we say, well, I don't quite fit that. I don't quite fit that mold. I don't quite have the best grades. My GRE isn't the greatest. My ABCD, you can come up with a list of different things that will allow you to feel as though you really don't have it all put together. So what cripples most of us is we just don't feel like we're as good as we can be, or we don't feel like we have any kind of guarantee, or we don't feel like we're actually going to accomplish what we're setting out to do. And if you don't have those fears, you're actually one of the few. Because most people do. I had a lot of those fears as a pre-PT, not knowing fully what the results of all my hard effort and hard work would be. And so for a lot of you, it comes down to the point of feeling like, well, I'm trying, I want to do everything I can to be a physical therapy student, but what if I don't make it? And all these different things that cloud us as we anticipate or at least pursue the field of physical therapy. So I want to ask you first, like, what is your mindset? Comment below. What is your mindset? Is it a fearful mindset? Are you scared? Are you unsure of what to expect? And so it's like you're fearful. Is it in and out? Are there days where it's kind of fearful, and others days when it's you're pretty locked in? Or is it purposeful? Is it purposeful? Because of all the pre-PTs that I have spoken to with Pre-PT Grind and different individuals that have reached out to us, I see one of these three every single time. It's either fear, which is the most common one. Joseph, Casey, I just really don't know. I have plan B, C, D because I'm just not sure. I'm scared. I'm scared of making this leap. We have the ones that are in and out. Like one day they're on fire, the next day they're not. Then we have the ones that are just like locked in. They're like, yo, I'm going to get this regardless of what it takes. And what I want for all of you is to get to the point where you are the purpose-driven pre-PT. But how do we get there? How do we become purpose-driven pre-PTs? Because when you are purpose-driven, timeline doesn't affect you. What other people are doing doesn't affect you, right? So for example, Pre-PT Grind is a very purpose-driven platform. It's a purpose-driven platform that is meant to serve pre-PTs and help pre-PTs gain the skills necessary, be in the community necessary to actually realize their dreams of becoming physical therapy students and physical therapists. Now, if Pre-PT Grind compares itself to other platforms, that would actually distort our purpose. And it's the same thing for all of you as you pursue physical therapy. You want to be purpose-driven pre-PTs. If there's one thing that you get from anything that we share is that you want to be purpose-driven pre-PTs. Being so locked in on what you are aiming for that nothing can shift you regardless of how difficult, classes are, regardless of how challenging, your grades might be, regardless of how many times you have to take the GRE, how many classes you have to retake, how many times you have to reapply for schools. It doesn't really matter as long as you have that purpose, and then everything else does fall in place. So one, to become a purpose-driven pre-PT, to have the mindset of a next level pre-PT, you have to be locked into your goal. So you have to know what that goal is. And for most of you, that's getting into physical therapy school. Or is it? Because if it's not, then that's where we might already have a problem. But if you know that physical therapy is what you want, you have to be locked into that goal. You have to be locked in that goal so that when you, like, if you don't get in that first time, is the real question is, were you really wanting to be a physical therapist in the first place? As in, are you going to let that stop you? Are you going to let that slow you down? Is it frustrating? Yes. Does it hurt? Yes. Is it challenging to push through? Yes. But at the same time, are you going to let that stop you? Is that going to be the one thing that slows you down from the one thing you want, your goal? Number two, you have to really learn to profit from failure as well. We all make mistakes. They're not the same ones. And I think a lot of what Casey and I have been trying to do with Pre-PT Grind is just make sure that we share a lot of the mistakes that other people have learned from, whether it's through podcasts, videos, and even the calls that we have. We all make different mistakes. But are you learning from those mistakes? Are you profiting from those mistakes? Are you doing the same thing over and over and over? Did you apply last cycle and then maybe this cycle you're trying the same thing again, just kind of hoping for a different result? What are you doing differently based on where you were at before? If you're in classes, if you're retaking your prerequisite classes, are you profiting from your previous discouragements, your previous failures? Are you profiting from them? Are you using them to channel and fuel you to now go next level? Did they expose the fact that maybe you need someone else to help you in those classes? Maybe you need a tutor. Like I had a tutor for chemistry, for physics, and all those different things. So are you learning from your failures? Are you profiting from your failures? Number three, you have to learn to control the controllables. Are you controlling the controllables? So how much time you're studying? What strategies you're using to study, who you have inside of your head in regards to this mindset thing. You have to be able to look at your whole situation, and whenever it seems as though you are out of control, as though everything throughout your week is insanely busy, as though you really can't manage, like, what can you control? I want you guys to just take a step back and figure out, what can I control in this particular situation, right? So even to the application process, everything from the classroom setting to the application process, what are those things that you can control? And if you can control them, are you doing so? Or are you finding the right guidance to be able to do so? Number four, you have to also learn to embrace the small wins. Are you embracing the small victories? Are you embracing the victories that you're getting, every single class period, every single exam, every single semester, every single school year? Are you embracing those small wins? Those small wins actually give you the fuel. Those small wins are re-encouraging you. We have the profiting from our failures, like we said before, but we also have to use the small wins to fuel us. We use the failures to teach us what we need to not do again and how to figure out how to then flip that into a success. And then we use our small wins to keep us going, to keep us grinding, but we have to be able to pay attention to them. It can't always be big picture. The big picture is get into PT school, yes, but you also have to embrace those small wins to get you to that big picture. And then lastly, you have to have high standards. You have to shoot for the moon. In regards to your test grades, in regards to the schools you're applying for, in regards to how much effort that you are putting, in regards to how you are perceiving yourself, in regards to the standards that you hold for you as an individual, as a pre-PT, you have to have high standards. That's how you become a next level pre-PT up here. Because the honest truth is, for a lot of pre-PTs, the frustration is we feel as though we can just, do some observation hours, do A, B, C, D, and then ultimately, we just kind of see what happens. It's really shooting in the dark. But if there's anything that I want to see different in the pre-PT world, is I want to see less and less pre-PTs shooting in the dark. Because that's happening all too frequently. I want to see less and less pre-PTs shooting in the dark, because what ends up happening is we end up getting some students that get in and others that don't, that would have been putting themselves like that. Had they had the right mindset, had they had the right team, had they had the right guidance, they would have actually put themselves in the position to be accepted into a program. But even if you don't, are you locked into that vision? Are you locked into that purpose? Are you locked in to being a physical therapist to the point where nothing will discourage you, nothing will push you off of your path? You're always going to stay on that warpath to becoming a physical therapy student. So these are the 5 things that you guys need to really step back and reassess if you want to be a next level pre-PT up here. Think like a next level pre-PT. These are things that I learned later on, as while I had already been in PT school, I was about to become a physical therapist, so I learned them late. But if you guys can master these things now, if you guys can start to embrace these things now, they will set you up for some great successes, not only in getting into physical therapy school, but even afterwards. Now this Sunday, we're taking our training to another level for you. We want to make sure that you guys have everything that you need to thrive as pre-PTs. So we are doing a live webinar training, and we want you guys to register for it. It will not be on Facebook. We do a lot of videos on Facebook, but we'll be doing a live webinar training called the 6-Step Strategy to Get into Physical Therapy School Without Wasting Time or Money. And we want you guys to be there. It will be on Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be there training you, walking you step by step through the six strategies that you guys need to know in order to be a next level pre-PT, so that you can set yourself up to get into physical therapy school, so that you can set yourself up to get into the profession that you are so passionate about, that you are so purposely driven to achieve. We'll see you guys on the next video. You guys have a great evening. Many blessings. Bye.